Hey everybody, it's Brad again with another Masterworks 3 video for you. In this video I'm going to teach you how to make a really neat gift tag that you can sew out and attach to any gifts you might want to give to somebody. Here's how it works. What you're going to end up with is a freestanding paper gift tag with this lettering sewn onto it and whatever little decorations you want to put on it. So it could be a birthday tag or Christmas or whatever kind of gift tag you want. You can customize it completely and have it be for any occasion. So what you're going to need for this to sew it out is you're going to need some cardstock, and you want it to be fairly heavy cardstock, whatever the heaviest they have at the Staples or Office Depot or wherever you go to get your cardstock. And at the end of this, I'm going to explain exactly how you would sew this out, but just make sure before you start this project that you have some cardstock laying around, and also some like mid to heavyweight cutaway stabilizer, like 2.5 ounce stabilizer. Cutaway stabilizer would work good. Okay, so this is what it's going to look like when we're done. And remember, this part of it will be paper, so we're actually embroidering on paper. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and start from the beginning here. I just wanted to start with what the design's going to look like when we're done, so you see what you're getting into. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is go up to the artwork tab here and left click, go down to custom shape and left click, and we're going to scroll down through the custom shapes until we see tag. Here we go. Tags 2 is what it's called. We're going to left click on tags 2 and it brings in our gift tag. Now by default it comes in vertically, and I want to digitize this horizontally, so I want to rotate this. So you just go up to modify up here at the top, choose rotate left, left click. Okay, now my tag is rotated the way that I want it to be. And we're going to go back to home up here. Now, the way that I want to do this is I want to get rid of one of these lines. There's a couple different ways we could go about doing this, but I think the easiest way is going to be to first get rid of this inner line. So move your mouse to the inner line here, right where my mouse is, and left click, and it will select it, and press the delete key on your keyboard. Now it's gone. Okay, so I'm left with this outer line and then my circle. So we need to now have 2 copies of this current outline. So what I want you to do is go up and left click on all items, then go up to copy on your toolbar up here, copy, and then left click paste. Okay. So now we've got 2 of each one of these, and they're right on top of each other, so you can't really tell that there's 2. But if I look at my sequence view, I can see 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. So each one has 2 copies. That's what I wanted. And go and select the first one in the sequence view here. Left click on it. You're going to go up to Apply Stitches and choose Run. And the same thing for the first circle. Apply Stitches and Run. Now choose the next outer part of the gift tag shape, go back to Apply Stitches and choose Satin. Okay, now before you do anything else, make sure that your satin stitch you just made is still highlighted. Go into the Properties menu, and we're going to go to Underlay and remove the check mark that's next to Parallel. And this is going to actually remove all the underlay from this satin stitch. And the reason we're doing that is because we're sewing this out on cardstock, we don't actually need underlay like we would if we were sewing it out on fabric, and it would just add more holes than are necessary. So now we're going to go and select our other circle, Apply Stitches, Satin, and again go into your Properties menu under Underlay, left click on Parallel to remove the check mark that's next to it, and hit Apply. Okay, now we've got our basic outline of our gift tag. We just need to add the lettering to it. Now I'm going to add happy birthday, just to be generic. But if you've got an event in mind, like maybe a graduate, or you could write congratulations grad, or whatever you want, you could have it say, if it's for a specific person, happy birthday, the person's name. I'm just going to do happy birthday. So I move up to my text, and I'm going to click this first one here, one that's just the basic straight across text. Left click on that. See, my cursor becomes a capital letter A, and I'm just going to left click anywhere. The default text is just my text. Now, you're going to go in and select your font. So pick whatever font you want to choose. There's a lot of them to choose from. So you go in to pick your font right under here in your properties menu. It'll say font, and I'll just stick with Block Compact, but you can scroll through and find one that you like. And I'm going to go into the text field here and type in happy birthday. And I'm going to do it on 2 lines. So I hit happy and then hit enter, type in birthday, and click apply. As you can see, this is a little bit too big for my gift tag. So I'm going to use this little symbol here. It looks like a little house in the upper left-hand corner where my text is. And if you don't see this symbol, then you must have clicked somewhere else. Like if I click over here, I don't have my symbol anymore. All I got to do is left-click back on my letters, and the little house appears right there in the corner. And I'm going to left-click and drag the mouse down, and it actually shows me a little ghost. See how it's changing the size? A little ghost of the letters, and I'm going to let go when I'm satisfied with the size. Move my mouse back over my letters, see how it turns into a hand, and left click and drag to place them. Good. Now, we also want to remove the underlay on these letters. So we're going to go to underlay, click on parallel, and hit apply. Now there's no underlay. That just removes unnecessary stitching that we don't need for sewing on paper. Now I want to have some little decorations in here, and I could import an embroidery design or digitize my own or what have you, but it's really easy to use these quick picks. So this little picture of a ladybug here, left click on that, and I can scroll through these and find one that are appropriate for the person. Like, so if they're into cowboy hats, kind of western theme, or bow and arrows, boots, there's all kinds of stuff in here, polar bears, whatever you find, hot peppers. I'm going to do the palm tree, because I like the palm tree. So I have my quick pick selected here, and see my mouse turns into this little plus sign. What I'm going to do is left click where I want the tree to be, and hold my mouse in and drag, and see how it shows me the shape getting bigger? It's like a little ghost of it. And when I'm satisfied, I let go, and there's my palm tree. My palm tree is all one color though. I'd like it to be 2 different colors. If I look over here in my sequence view, I can see that there's a plus sign next to the palm tree here. I click that plus sign, and the entire thing actually breaks apart into the different pieces. Now this palm tree has all these different pieces to it, but if I left click on the individual pieces, I can see where they are. And it looks like just these first 3 pieces are part of the trunk of the palm tree. So what I'll do is left click on the first one, hold down the control key. So I'm holding down control and then left clicking on the second and third pieces here. And I can see by the selection box that that's all in the trunk. So what I want to do is now go and change the color to brown, make the trunk brown. If I look down here, it's combined the rest of the pieces into one solid piece. That's all the leaves. So I'm going to left click on that. I'll make it green. Now I want to make a copy, because I want to have 2 of these. So I want to copy this entire palm tree. To do that, I'm going to make sure I've got all the green selected, which I do. If I don't have anything selected, I can just go in here. See this where it says embroidery leaf green, and it shows a little picture that's got just the leaves. Left click on there, left click on this one, that's the entire trunk. My whole palm tree will be selected. I go to copy and paste, and now I can move my new palm tree over. Very nice. one last thing I need to do. In order for this to sew out correctly, the satin stitches have to sew out last. So I'm going to move up to my satin stitches in my sequence view. I'm going to select both of them by holding down the control key. And my neighbor is mowing his lawn. I'm going to close my window so you can't hear it. Hopefully that's a little quieter. Anyway, hold down the satin, hold down the control key and select both of my satin stitch outlines here and drag them all the way down to the bottom. I'm just holding my mouse button down as I drag it down to the bottom and let go on the very last one. And now those will sew out last. Okay, so how do we sew this out? What you're going to do is hoop up just a piece of cutaway stabilizer, heavy cutaway stabilizer. Like I said, like 2 or 2.5 ounce will work fine. So you just have in your embroidery hoop the stabilizer. And you're going to take a piece of cardstock that's cut out to fit your hoop, and you're going to spray some spray adhesive on it and stick it to the front of the hoop. Once you've done that, you're going to go and begin sewing this design out. Oh, you know what? One last thing we need to do is change the color of the... oh, you know what? We don't even have to do that. Never mind. Alright. You can, if you want to, change the color of this to whatever you want your border color to be. And by the way, you need to have a bobbin wound in that color so that... because you're going to see both sides of the outer stitching. So if you are using blue, you need to have blue thread on your bobbin. So anyway, so you sew out the design. The first thing that's going to sew out, I'm just going to move this down here. It will let me kind of preview sew the design out. It doesn't matter what color this is because this is going to be covered up, but you let it sew out the first part, and then it'll go and sew out the letters, and you let it do that. Then you sew out the palm trees, and then when it gets to the end of the palm trees, you're going to stop, remove the hoop, and take another piece of the cardstock that you have cut out to be, small enough to fit in that hoop. Spray adhesive on that and stick it on the back of the hoop. And this is why we need the satin stitch to sew out last. So you stick that piece on the back of the stabilizer on the underside of the hoop, and then put it back in the machine and let it start sewing this last part out. And what it'll do is go and put the satin stitch all around that part and that part. And when it's done, you just peel the cardstock away, and it'll have perforations from the needle going through it. It'll just peel right away from the front and back, and then you cut the tag out of the stabilizer, poke the hole out of this part in here. I used an X-Acto knife, but small scissors will work just as well. And then you put a piece of ribbon through the hole and tie it to the gift. That's it. And you can use this design over and over again. Anytime there's an event, you can just change the lettering. Or you can even use other shapes. You don't have to use this gift tag shape. For instance, here I'll make a new page really quick and show you how you can do a different shape. Say I don't want that tag shape. I want to make it in the shape of any of these custom shapes. Like maybe I've got a baby, I want it to be a bunny or a little bear or something like that. Or maybe I'm making a Valentine's Day one, I want it to be a heart. We'll do that. You select the heart. So we've got our heart outline. We just need to add a circle. And we can add a circle by going up to the artwork, choosing ellipse, which is a circle. Click and drag to make a circle where I want it to be. And now I do the same instructions from the original video. I just take these, copy and paste them, make the first two into a running stitch for my placement, apply stitches, run, make the second two a satin stitch. I'd want to go and remove the underlay, of course, like I did in before. Add my text in. Maybe be mine for the Valentine. Find some little decorations to put in there, etc., etc. And then you sew it out the same way, and it'll work exactly the same way as the one that was a pre-made gift tag. So you can really be pretty creative with this. And in fact, you can even just draw your own shape. If there isn't one that strikes your fancy, you can just draw your own shape with the artwork tools and sew it out in the same order that I described, and you'll have really neat little gift tags. If anybody wants to see a sample of what that looks like, I have some sewn out that I did for the Floriani class, which works in a very similar way, and they look the same as these would look when you sew them out. And I bought my cardstock at Staples. It was like $8 for like what would basically be a lifetime supply of doing this. So that's it for this video. I hope it was fun. And if you do sew one of these out, bring it in, let me see. That's it. See you next time.